In this next video, we're going to tackle brakes. Some of the things that have been done off camera, the booster and the master cylinder were replaced. They're brand new, both of them. The owner decided it was better just to get new ones, which I totally agree with. So right now they're unplugged, waiting on me to get done with all the hydraulic stuff down here. Now for brakes, remember you don't want to go cheap. At least that's my opinion. So for the brakes, we got a couple things to look at. We can look at this rubber line. We can look at the caliper, the pads, and the brake rotor. I believe he bought all new everything. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to start taking stuff apart. Something interesting, these are original GM rotors, and because they didn't use metallic pads, there's almost no wear on these things. So we'll see if he wants to replace them. But something interesting is this brake pad has almost no meat left on it. Same with the one on the inside. So these are going to have to come off. But first what I want to do is I want to cut that line so that I am able to drain all the old brake fluid out if there's any left. The fronts had all kinds of fluid. The backs had absolutely nothing. With the calipers off, you can see that way overdue for a brake job. Look at these things. These are riveted on, and like we were a millimeter or less away from actually hitting the rivets, which would have been bad. I feel like, yeah, they're pretty bad, but I don't think they made it. There's no real rub marks. Maybe this one right here on the back. The rotor itself doesn't look too bad. I know I'm going to get haters in the comments. They're like, I can't believe you don't turn these rotors. I guarantee you these rotors are in spec. I guarantee it. There's no lip at all on either side. They're perfect. There's no reason to replace them. Here's the new caliper and the new brake line. So I had to pretty much eyeball one caliper to the other, make sure I get the correct brake line. So they're probably the same one to the other, but what you want to do is make sure that it goes inward toward the caliper, the same as this one. New copper washers on both sides, make sure that won't leak. Next we need to put the brake pads in. You can see from the old ones, they're kind of neat actually, especially compared to the Corvette ones, which don't really attach to anything. So the outside has these little hooks on the pad, and they kind of snap into place like that. If I could do it with one hand, but anyway, they snap into place like that, and the inside pad has this little metal tang that goes around it, and you can see it on the old one. It just snaps into the bore just like that. We'll put them together that way. I have brake grease to put on them, and then we'll reinstall that. Then we can do the line, and this side is basically done. It's not too bad at all. Here on the other side we have, it's about the same. We do have way more pad on this, which means somebody replaced the right front brakes but not the left front brakes. It makes no sense at all. Yeah, these are almost more than half. They're probably 75%. But it's a simple fix. We got new anyway, so let's take these apart. After getting the front brakes done, we're going to do the back brakes. Believe it or not, the other side was in really good shape. I decided to film this side hoping that there's something else wrong. Well, the drum just want to come off, so there's one thing. So I was able to get the drum popped off of the hub. I had to use my big pry bar and just give it a huge yank. I also had to break the little pins that hold the shoes in, so it should all come out in one big deal, or at least come on. I think on this side, I think the shoes are stuck. Stuck to the drum. As you guys can see, the shoes are completely stuck to the drum. They haven't even, at the top they began to move a little bit, but it's nasty in there. The driver's side just slid right off. This is so weird. So you see these shoes? There's almost no braking material left in them. The ones on the other side were almost brand new. You know what that means? That means somebody did the brakes on one side of the front and one side of the back. And that's it. They didn't do the whole thing. They just did half. I've never seen such things. That's so bizarre. Why would people do that? Looking on this side, obviously the shoes are toast. The drum has scoring. It's so weird. It's so different than the other side. Usually they're very similar. It's the same on both sides. But there is no fluid leak. There might be a little bit. But the other one, when I did this, it went and popped fluid everywhere. None of that here, which is good. So now, it's really windy, so we're going to just disassemble and reassemble, and you guys are going to watch me do it. Brakes are bled. Everything's should be good to go for the test drive. So let's fire this baby up and see what happens. There's a little bit of a header leak. Other than that, the power steering works, the coolant's full, the oil's full, the brakes are bled, the alternator charges. We should be able to drive it. So we're going to do at least just one round the block kind of thing and see how it goes. So the horn doesn't work, buddy. Oh, horn fixed itself. All right, let's see how this goes. All right, truck is going backwards. That's good. Power steering seems to work. Brakes work. You can hear the gas in that gas can. So far it doesn't look like we're leaking anything. We're just gonna do a quick round the block kind of trip. That's all we're gonna do. There's a car. power steering and power brakes are nice. I can drive with one hand. So the main thing we got to figure out, this transmission is going to shift. That was a shift. There's another one. That's just pretty nice. We'll drive around the block and then we will check the fluid once the truck warms up. It's weird driving around those seat belts. And brakes. Brakes are good. Brakes feel good. Alright, so our oil pressure gauge works, battery gauge works, speedometer works, fuel was working. I don't know. I thought we had a quarter, now we're down to empty, but we'll see. This is just a really quick drive. The temp gauge is not working. Probably the one I'm most important about. I think the speedometer or the odometer works. Yeah, the speedo works, or the odometer works. That temperature sender is not sending anything. We'll see if it's grounded. Other than that, we might have to get a different one. Transmission shifts really nice. No hesitation. Just shifts. It's nice. Alright, now we gotta go park it, check underneath it for leaks and drips and problems, and I don't smell or hear anything, but we'll get there. So far, so good. Couple little exhaust leaks. Oh, if I could open this with one hand. Alright. We puked a little bit of coolant out when I first started it. There's no overflow tank, but we'll work on that later. Oh, she's running well. So far, so good. Next, I gotta do weather stripping and carpet, bolt the seats down, put the seat belts in, and then we can really take it on a drive. But as of right now, let's see. Yeah, that sender should be in here. So, I mean, that's unplugging the gas gauge. That's plugging it back in.